In a world where the paranormal meets the preposterous, where ghostly whispers echo through the abandoned arcades, and every creaky floorboard might just be a clue, two bravish souls dare to investigate the mysteries no one else will touch.
The Boo-Foons Mystery Investigators. They don't always get it right, but they always get it weird.
Hey there, mystery lovers and mischief makers. I'm Steve.
And I'm Dan, together with the Boo-Foons Mystery Investigators, your guides through the weird, the wild, and the wonderfully unexplained.
Each week, we dive headfirst into bizarre tales, haunted happenings, and conspiracy theories so strange they'll make your nan's ghost stories sound like bedtime lullabies.
We're talking cursed vacuum cleaners, psychic pigeons, haunted theme parks, and maybe, just maybe, a few real clues along the way.
So grab your flashlights, your EMF detectors, and maybe a snack, because things are about to get weird.
This is the Boo-Foons Mystery Investigators, where the only thing scarier than the truth is how much fun we're having finding it. Now, before we get into this episode, dear listeners, I would like to apologise for what you are about to hear. The context of this following episode is Steve and I, as the Boo-Foons, went around some pubs that were apparently haunted, and when we recorded this episode, it was when we got back to Steve's house. This was part of our journey together throughout Devon and Cornwall. And you will notice that I may have had a little bit too much to drink, and if we were sensible, we would re-record this whole episode. However, that wouldn't be in the true Boo-Foonery of the Boo-Foons. Anyway, enjoy this episode. We're recording. Welcome to the Boo-Foons Mystery Investigators, where we like to solve different mysteries of the unexplained, ghosts, folklore, myths, legends, maybe even aliens sometime. Maybe we can do aliens at some point. I'm Dan.
I'm Steve.
And together, we're the Boo-Foons Mystery Investigators.
I do like aliens. I think we definitely got to do an aliens.
We definitely need to do some aliens.
Yeah.
Well, that's
They're a
fine.
friendly bunch.
Yeah.
The aliens.
Especially that time that you were taken up and was probed.
Oof. Yeah.
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 Although it was...
At least they said I had a clean colon.
Yes.
So that took a big worry about from me.
And
At my age, apparently you're supposed to have checks all the time for that kind of thing. At least the aliens do it for free.
Yes. And I still own that costume that I wore that night.
Oh, God. You a good man. Well, yeah, stop laughing. Come on now, Karen. Now you're the brains behind the operation.
I'm the brain. Well,
and the balls by the sound of it.
So, if you've listened to previous episodes,
we're sorry.
Yes, very sorry. We apologise deeply for. I don't know what we're apologising for, but we're sorry.
Do you know it's best to say sorry first, then? Is that right? Apologise now and...
No, it's easier to do something and apologise afterwards than it is to ask for permission to do it.
Okay, yeah,
We're
sorry.
Yeah, we're sorry.
We're sorry.
But as you know, we've got a little bit of a string of exciting episodes where we're actually sitting in the same room together.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's warm and it's cosy.
It is.
And we're a bit close, but...
And there's a proton pack over there.
That one did extend, did you notice?
I did notice.
Yeah. Not by itself, though. I did it for you.
Oh,
I extended my proton wand.
Thanks, hon.
Neutrino wand. Sorry.
Yeah. Thanks, honey bunch.
Anytime, Dan.
My PKE meter got all excited.
You opened your ghost trap just for me.
I did. But yes, and like I said in the last episode that we did, you know, we're the only ones that know whether there is genuinely a proton pack, ghost trap, and PKE meter just sitting there.
There are some other interesting things in here as well.
Yes, we spoke about the Stay Puft Marshmallow Mans last time.
What about that hand with the extended finger behind you?
Yes, which is conveniently aimed towards my throat. It's not hairy, though. It's not.
And what about that little box over there?
Mystery box?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, there are lots of interesting things in this room. The best bit is with recording this, it's like, yeah, let's just go for it. Just the randomness. Yeah, so it is weird knowing that we're in the same room together, because normally we're looking at each other through a screen.
Yeah, we don't get a chance to meet often as we should do.
No. And that's your fault. You're the one that moved away.
Yeah, but do you blame me?
No, I can't actually, to be fair. And if I had the money, I would follow you down this way, but...
You don't need the money. You just need to have a job.
Good point. We went round Dartmoor. That was very lovely. Done the episodes about that. You've heard about our adventures across Dartmoor. And today, we ventured into Cornwall.
Lovely place. Foreign languages everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere's written in strange Klingon.
Yeah. And loads of pirate flags. Pirate flags everywhere.
Yeah, surprisingly. And a good 30 miles inland.
Yeah.
Pirates everywhere. It's almost as if it's an industry.
It is.
And everybody has to have a pirate or a ghost.
Or a ghost, yes. And we will be talking about a certain place which was definitely 100% made up.
Yes.
Ghost.
Yes. But we don't want to say that in case it ruins their business. We become so popular, they sue us. Because everybody's listened to us and they're suddenly say, yes, that's just a tourist trap and we shouldn't go there and spend our vast amounts of money they're asking for fish and chips.
Yes. For average fish and chips.
Average fish and chips. And really weird tartar sauce.
Yes.
It was thick and creamy. It reminded me of not of tartar sauce. There was no lumps in it.
No, it looked like mayonnaise with a little bit of herb in.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's actually what tartar sauce is. I don't actually know how to make tartar sauce. But it literally looked like
Do you know what?
Mayonnaise with a little bit of herb in.
I've got to say, tartar sauce, it's a mystery.
Mystery. I feel that's going to be your catchphrase going forward. Just mystery.
But did you enjoy the beers?
I did.
As a designated driver, I enjoyed lots of Coke Zero because nobody in Cornwall sells Pepsi.
Yeah, that's a good point, because when we went around Dartmoor and even the pubs around here, it's a case of you've managed to get Pepsi Max everywhere.
Yeah, and Pepsi Max is the only cola-like drink to drink.
Yes.
For me, anyway. I could live off Pepsi Max. Obviously, and sweets as well, mainly chocolate. Pepsi Max and chocolate. God, that's such a good diet.
Yeah, and Pepsi Max, that's the only time we've had a disagreement, was when you visited me and I'd bought Pepsi Max Cherry.
Oh, you evil man.
Yeah.
You know you're going to hell for that, don't you?
I like it. I like it for a bit of change from just normal Pepsi Max from time.
Yeah, I don't think cherry should be in a drink. I don't think cherry should be in a food either. I don't actually like cherry in any form of any type.
well, there we go.
Thinking about it, I just don't like cherry.
And we've been the Boo-Foons. That's the mystery solved. Steve doesn't like cherry.
Which is why the cherry Pepsi Max didn't work.
Yes. But yeah, we went round quite a few pubs, and it was quite a nice little journey going along and driving around Bodmin and going to pubs. And as we were going out, the first pub that we're going to talk about, we hadn't planned to go to. We just happened to see a sign for it and went, let's go.
It sounds interesting.
Let's go.
I bet there's a ghost there.
And it was the name for me.
It was a great name.
Yeah. Who'd have thought it in?
Yeah. That's
thought
almost as good as who'd have put it.
Yes.
We definitely would have gone to the who'd have put it in.
We would have done.
Yeah.
We would have done. Now, it was when we pulled up in the car park, we then managed to find the story there. until we spoke to staff and found out more of a story. But the story there, it's in St Dominic in Cornwall, and I don't know if this piece of information is correct or not. It might be, it might not be. But historically, it was called the Butcher's Arms, as far as I could find research around it.
And I think then they had the accident and he lost the arms and it became the butcher's left foot.
And then it was that amazing that he continued with just the foot that they then went, who'd have thought it?
Who'd have thought it? In. Yeah.
Well, there you go. So who'd have thought it in St Dominic? We've now written you a story, an origin story.
Yeah.
We expect our...
Is that where you had the pork pies? Because you know where the butcher's arms went in.
Yeah, in that pork pie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Butcher's arms in the pork pie.
Yeah. And
Another
who'd have
great
thought?
name for an inn. Yeah.
And who'd have thought
Who'd
it?
have thought it? In.
And it is considered a haunted location. It's known for a ghost of a murdered stranger who is said to haunt the pub, returning to finish his drink that he didn't get to finish because he was drinking it and then was murdered before finishing it. The ghost is believed to be a man who was killed many years ago. His body was found on the moor the next morning. Visitors have reported hearing footsteps along the passageway to the bar, which some believe are the ghost's return. There are also reports of a strange man, possibly the ghost, sitting on the wall outside the pub.
Crying.
Well, it just says reports of a strange man, possibly the ghost, sitting on the wall outside the pub.
Are you This is what gets me, right? When you hear something like that, maybe it was just a strange man sitting on the wall of a pub.
Yeah.
How did that justify it being a ghost story?
Because there's a strange man sitting outside a pub.
But we saw many strange men in a pub today.
Yes. And I've seen strange men sitting on pub walls before. And they definitely weren't ghosts.
Yeah. And I just want to add, though, we saw some lovely people in the pubs today, and we've had some amazing conversations. So not everybody we saw today was strange. Or there's not just strange people in pubs.
No, not just strange people.
Because we were in there. We weren't strange in any way. We made nobody feel uncomfortable.
Well, we don't know that. There've probably people gone home, there were two really strange men in pubs who kept talking about ghosts. So maybe people have gone home and gone, there were two strange men in the pub.
But did you notice in our last but one pub, we weren't the only people talking about ghosts? There was another load, the people on the table opposite when we were eating, in our tourist trap of a pub, the party sitting opposite, they were chatting about ghosts non-stop for the whole time too.
Oh, the ones that had the children?
Yes.
Ah, right.
Yeah, all they were doing was talking about ghosts too. So we're not the only ones. And tell you something, it must get really boring for the bar staff.
It must. Well, in that one, the Who'd You Thought It In, you actually spoke to the bar staff and asked him about ghosts. And I believe he told you about, well, weirdly enough, so I guess if we set the scene for where we sat, I was sitting between two old fireplaces on what looked like a church pew.
And this, again, goes with the theory from our previous episode, or the previous Dartmoor episode, that all these hauntings seem to be around large amounts of solid stone.
Yes.
And this pub was built completely out of huge chunks of stone and rock. The ground was stone, the walls were stone, and the two fireplaces Dan was sitting in square in the middle of were huge stone structures.
They were.
And he just looked like this little lump of flesh between two huge big pillars.
Maybe I'll have to upload the photograph.
I think so. But your giant lump of flesh between those two. No, that's right. Those two soft pillows. No, hang on. That's wrong again.
It was stone. It wasn't soft at all.
They weren't. No, they were very hard.
But he told you about and then you'd sat opposite me in the chair, and he said that there had been a customer who had sat in the same chair you had sat in, looked at the fireplace and saw, was it a girl?
That little girl playing peekaboo in the
Yes.
fireplace. And then she just disappeared.
Yeah.
And, we asked him if he had seen anything, because he's been working there for a little while. He's a student living in Plymouth as well, but he works in Cornwall. And he says he doesn't believe in anything because he hadn't seen anything himself. But, and it's always this, there's always, But, and we've experienced this in quite a few places where the bar staff have said, don't believe in it, haven't seen it, but. And it's like, but one night I was locking up, and I locked up, turned everything off, and as I was walking away, in pitch darkness, and he said it can get really spooky here because it's in the middle of nowhere and there's nothing around, and the lights inside the pub started flickering by themselves. And again, weird, very strange, because the building looks like it was a lovely pub.
It was a very lovely pub.
It was a lovely pub. It's done. It's not cheap. It's not aged in any way, but it's, it is. It had recently changed hands, and I think there's been quite a lot of investment in it. But it was a lovely pub.
Yes, and he did say about one of his colleagues going into the basement in the cellar where there was a passageway, and she thought she saw the chef walking through the passageway. And then when she went upstairs, she said to the chef, I just spoke to you and you didn't respond. And the chef was very confused because the chef had been in the kitchen the whole time.
And again, that's another thing. A lot of these pubs we spoke to, they all said the cellar is where things happen.
Yes.
And the cellar, of course, is all surrounded by stone.
It is. Yeah, maybe we do need to get a geologist or somebody to come and talk to us about stone.
Whether or not it imprints things, which some people think,
yeah,
because, you can imprint, apparently you can imprint data in crystal. But also, there's so many different types of stones, and so many. I mean, I don't believe in crystals and all that stuff, about healing properties of crystals, and I'm not sure about that. But there's definitely something about, for example, the magnetism in stone. It can change people's brainwaves,
and the fact that you don't get a phone signal inside at all. Has that trapped something inside?
Every pub we went into with these solid stone walls and ceilings and floors, and the only thing that wasn't stone were the windows, we couldn't get a signal in any of them.
Yeah. And maybe that's a thing. Maybe ghosts get trapped inside if there's such a thing. Yeah.
But a great pub, say the barman, we can't rate it enough, basically. If any, also very nice fish and chips.
Nice.
Yeah, I enjoyed my fish and chips. Thought it was lovely. No, scampi and chips.
Scampi and chips with pea puree.
Yeah, minty pea puree.
And nice tartar sauce.
Lovely tartar sauce. This wasn't thin and watery like a bucket of
pub that we'll talk about later.
Yeah, this was lovely chunky tartar sauce, and it really was good. Yeah, nice all around. So I give the Who'd Have Thought It an 8 out of 10.
On what scale? what scale are we rating?
No, 10 out of 10 would have been, the beer would have been free. We didn't have beer though. I had Coke.
Oh, we're rating it on its pubbiness.
We can't rate it on its ghostiness, can we? Really?
We haven't spoken about what a rating is.
Yeah, I know. But we didn't see a ghost.
Well,
we didn't feel anything.
If we're rating it on it being a pub, I guess to be fair,
it was a pub day. Come on now.
It was a pub day.
Yeah.
So 8 out of 10. You see, and this is where it would become awkward for me because I'm a bit of a beer nerd.
And I'm a Pepsi Max nerd, and I didn't get what I wanted. That's why it's an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, and I haven't had an interesting beer all day, really, in any of these pubs.
Until you got home.
Until I got back here. So on my
you can mark it lower. You don't have to mark it as high as I did. I just thought it was a nice.
But the thing is, so if I ignore my beer nerdiness, it was a very lovely pub, very lovely food, lovely staff. Yeah, I would agree. 8 out of 10, but my nerdy beer thing would make me say probably 7 out of 10.
Okay, 7 out of 10, that's good. But again, out of that rating, I think, maybe we should do this. The rating also includes how good the staff were and how friendly, because the young man behind the, who served us, who chatted with us, was lovely. All the staff were lovely, but, he came up with these stories. He told us his experience, that he doesn't necessarily believe in it, but there has, something has happened that he couldn't explain. And I'm the same as well. I'm a skeptic, but I've still experienced a number of things which I can't explain. And that I'm still a skeptic, like him, but you can always tell when somebody says something like that. There's always something that just now, it doesn't take that much to convince me that another experience, maybe another couple of experiences like that, and I could start believing.
Well, it's like the next place. And what happened in the next place?
Now, this place was an hour drive.
Yeah, and we went to the Crow's Nest Inn.
Crow's Nest.
Yeah, what a brilliant pub name. Just the pub named after the place it's in.
What an amazing place name.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a lovely little place as well. I mean, this pub, right? I mean, I'm not really a pub goer. I don't drink. I don't go to the pubs. But this place was so cute. It was old. It had the feeling of age. You could feel this place if it had gone back 400 years.
And it was almost like that, walking back in time.
The pub was tiny. The toilets are outside. There was no toilets inside. So all the toilets are outside.
Just one very long bar area. Fireplace.
I almost banged my head on I almost knocked my head on the ceiling, knocked my head on the beams. My head was touching everything because it was so low. It was just like, I've got spiky.
But you are freakishly
no,
tall.
I'm just
You're like
above average.
8 foot, you know.
Not in height.
But yeah, the Crow's Nest. So the story that went there is that, now I did have to laugh at the source that we were getting this from, because it starts off with saying 4 ghosts.
4 ghosts.
And then the story goes on to tell you about 6 ghosts.
Yeah. But one might have been 2. 2 might have been 1, sorry.
Yeah.
2 might have been 1. So that still makes 5 ghosts.
Yeah, like the Spice Girls. Because tonight is the night where 2 become 1.
As long as it's not ginger.
Yeah, you see, it's Baby Spice all the way for me.
Sorry, yeah.
Anyway, digression. So within the pub, one is supposedly a lady who was heartbroken when her love failed to return from the mines. Another is an old woman who returns each night for a little late night tipple.
Ooh, you could all do the little late night tipple every so again.
Little tipple, tipple, tipple.
Tipping stones.
Tipping tones.
Tipping stones and tipple.
The third is an old man who walks through the bar and into the outside portion of the pub.
Maybe she would like a tipple with him.
Maybe.
Old lady, old man, tipple time.
Oh, they do think he was the landlord at one point.
Oh, I bet the landlord had a few tipples.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Edward Charles Murch.
Or, sorry, we had better not say that because I don't want to get sued by his family. I bet he didn't. I bet he was a Puritan.
Well, considering he was in charge in the early 1900s.
Oh, yeah. He definitely had a tipple then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Edward Charles Murch, he actually died at the age of 40, at the age of 72 behind the bar. And it said that he walks into the pub and goes through the old entrance to the bar and walks straight up to the bar. And then there's another woman of medium height with grey hair and clothing from the 19th century, walking across the dining room and out of a window where a door used to be. And that ghost may be the old woman that walks in for the tipple.
Or it may be the pub landlord who wants a tipple.
It might be.
It might be his weekend get up.
It might be. After tipples. Another sighting is of a boy that wanders around all over the pub.
Now, what is a boy doing in a pub now? Especially that era. I mean, it's before it was a restaurant. They weren't even allowed in there. Are there any priests around?
No mention of priests.
No priest holes.
No mention of priests or priest holes. Not in this story.
Must be a happy boy then. Rather than a sad crying boy.
Well, apparently he's just wandering around the pub, so maybe he's just having fun.
The thing is, though,
it was mining, so he was probably one of the boys.
He probably was one of the miners.
See, yeah.
I mean, he was a boy, so he was definitely one of the miners.
Yeah.
But do you know what? That's another thing we noticed in all the pubs. I don't know because I haven't been in pubs for a long time. I don't really do pubs, but there's a lot of kids wandering around the pubs.
There are.
I mean, I was attacked by one with a sword today, and I'm sure he was real.
Oh, yes, you were attacked by a boy with a sword who was looking for his mum.
He was looking for his mum, and she just went to the toilet and didn't tell him.
Yeah.
Or did she make a run for it for a bit of a tipple?
But she did return in the end.
She did return. She heard him crying.
Yeah, after attacking you with his sword.
Bastard. Little bastard.
But then the final spooky thing in the crow's nest is the clock. Now, the clock was 10 minutes fast, and they claim that if it was right, then there's ghosts appear. Is that?
Well, yeah, that's it. Again, we spoke to the barman about this, and Dan goes in and says, your clock is, okay, your clock is 10 minutes fast. Surely it should be 10 minutes slower so you can use that as an excuse when you go home late. But I think it was fast so they can actually close the pub before they need to, so the staff can get off home.
Definitely.
But then we asked the barman, have you seen anything? Because we're visiting all the, not all of them, we're visiting, because I mean, if we visited all the haunted pubs in Cornwall, we would be out for at least 7 months.
And Hairy Hands would definitely get us.
Oh, man.
Although that's Devon and Dartmoor.
Yeah. Maybe Hairy Palms would have got us after 7 months of it. Yeah, so we asked the barman, what do you think of it? I mean, this is supposed to be haunted. We're visiting haunted pubs. And before even we said that, he said, you said, yes, the clock is 10 minutes fast. And he said, if we set it right, all sorts of things happen. The place is haunted. All sorts of haunting will happen. So even before we said anything, he said that the place would get haunted. The things would happen if they set it to the correct time. Now, I still think it's so they can leave early for 10 minutes. I mean, I still think it's about leaving early for 10 minutes. I'm sure that's what it is. But then we asked him, okay, so what do you think about it? I mean, we're obviously visiting the ghost haunted pubs. Are there any ghosts here? What do you think? And again, he said, no. He goes, I don't believe any of that. Haven't seen anything. I've never seen anything. I don't believe in it. But I have seen some weird things I can't quite explain. Things have fallen off. I've seen movements in the side of my eyes in the basement, in the cellar, sorry. I've seen things, but I just don't know what they are. But I don't believe in ghosts.
Yeah, and
again, there's that but.
It is that but.
I have never seen anything. I don't believe in it. But. And that's the second pub in a row.
Like we rehearsed that.
That was, yeah. And it was a big but, and it does not lie.
You others can't deny.
But yeah, so the second pub in the road, the same thing from a young guy working there who, and that's the other thing. I can understand older people who, my age, who grown up with this kind of weird stuff all the time. But, younger people, it's all TikTok and it's all Instagram and social media and weird stuff. But it's not the nonsense that the 50-year-olds grew up with.
No, and like you were saying with the last pub about those feelings, and you were saying about being a skeptic but seeing things. That was the pub where when I walked in, I went, oh, it's a bit of a weird feeling there. And then I stepped back and stepped forward again and went, there's something not just quite right there. And then when we came to leave and I walked past that exact spot again, I went, no, there's something that just didn't feel right in the pit of my stomach on that exact spot, which is in the story where that landlord Eddie is supposedly, that's where he walks through apparently. So I don't know what it was about that exact spot in that pub, but every time I walked over that bit, it was just a weird feeling.
Yeah, that was really interesting because it was you going back to the ghost walk you went on in Plymouth, and the medium who was taking you around was saying how you feel. Clear out your mind. Don't try to clear everything out and just walk around and tell me what you feel. And you said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to clear up my mind. I'm just going to wander. I was sitting there, drink, getting the shakes from drinking my 14th, Coke Zero. And then you basically said, I'm just going to go for a walk around. It's not a very big pub. I mean, it's the size of maybe if you think of the average small semi-detached conservatory, it was like probably twice the length or the width of a normal house. But it was, it was tiny. It was a tiny space. You couldn't have fit more than 20 people in there without it getting crowded. And so you went up and down and you did the same thing. You stopped at that same point.
Yeah.
There was, the whole place is made of stone. Thick, giant chunks of stone. But you stopped at the same point 3 times.
Yeah.
And said, you feel something in your stomach.
Yeah.
And it was very odd to see that because, again,
And
you're a skeptic. And even though you cleared your mind and you walked, something I can't do, even with all that Pepsi, I still can't close my mind. Or Coke, I can't close my mind. You just walked over and you said the same thing. And according to the story, that's where the dead pub landlord would walk through.
Yeah, but it was also really weird. It was like indigestion. And you know that feeling that you get in your stomach that feels like that's when you've got indigestion. It was like that, but it was only on that one spot. Standing on that spot, stomach felt like I had indigestion. Stepped away, fine. Step back, it was on there. Step forward, no, it wasn't there. And I will say I wasn't farting every time I was standing on that spot. That would
Can
be
I just say, for a change?
for a change.
Yeah.
For a change, definitely for a change. Yeah, so weird pub. However, there was another story of that pub that was reported of the ex-landlady, Jenny, I believe her name is, pouring a beer, putting it on the side to settle, and the beer flew across the room and at her and attacked her. It was almost like the beer jumped up to attack her. Which, when we then went to the next pub, the Market Inn, we met a very nice couple.
Oh, before we talk about the very nice couple we met, and they were very cool. For a retired couple, they were, that's what I want to be like when I'm a retired couple.
Yes.
I know I'm big, but I can be a retired couple. I would give the Crow's Nest. I would give Crow's Nest. We didn't eat any food at the Crow's Nest. There was food. People outside were very happy. The staff were very nice. The pub, honestly, if you want to go to a pub that looks and feels so like it could have come out of the 16th century, go to the Crow's Nest. And I would have given that, again, I can't judge on anything else apart from Coke Zero again. No, that was Diet Coke. It was even worse.
Diet Coke.
Diet Coke sucks. So I'd give that a 7 out of 10 for drinks. Can't give a score for food, but for atmosphere and quirkiness, I'd give it a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I was going to say that pub for me. Yes, again, I didn't get any exciting beer, but 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
Easily 9 out of 10. It was a very old-fashioned boozer, and it was just delightful.
It was. I could have stayed there for hours just soaking up the atmosphere. It just felt, there was something about that place that just felt special.
It did.
Comfortable. It was for me, it felt really comfortable. Even though I had the handle of the window sticking in my back.
Yes.
I could have stayed there all day, to be honest.
It's so easily.
Yeah. So Crow's Nest in Crow's Nest, good score, great pub. If you want something that potentially has something to it, something a bit more unusual, go there. Go Crow's Nest.
And look at the creepy clock.
Yeah, the creepy clock. I like the poster on the wall. The rules of the pub. What was it? No.
Yes.
You got it there, right? Yeah. This
I can put it on the socials, but
this is a great poster. I love this poster. It was the rules for the pub, I think it was. They also had a list of hang-ins in Cornwall, so we were looking for relatives, but we didn't see anybody in there.
No thieves, fakers, rogues, or tinkers. No skulking loafers or flea-bitten tramps. No slap and tickle of the wenches. No banging o' tankards on the table. No dogs allowed in the kitchen. No cockfighting. Flintlocks, cudgels, daggers, and swords to be handed to the innkeeper for safekeeping.
Do you know, if that's how the poster used to be, if that's what the rules were for a pub in the old days, I'm born in the wrong year.
Yeah, I'd love to go into a pub and just go, yeah, here's my gun, mate. Look after it.
I just want to walk in a pub and somebody look at me and said, no cockfighting.
Yeah.
It's awesome. No, I mean,
nowadays there are bars where that's actively encouraged.
Yeah. And they have really good pubs as well. Apart from Red Stripe seems to be the only thing you can buy in there.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Sorry, next one. So
Market Inn.
Yeah, so we decided to then take a trip away. What was it? This was a shorter journey, wasn't it? This was only...
Yeah, it was only around the corner. This was in St. Clear. And that was where we saw the well.
We did see a well there, didn't we? We ended up parking because we missed the car park. So we parked on the street and caused a nice big traffic jam, which was lovely. It's nice to feel you have that power sometimes to cause inconvenience to others.
Yeah. And there was that car just looking at us as if to say, "What are you doing?" It's like, well, we're parking in
Just
this.
drive around us, you idiot. Just wait.
Yeah.
I'm paying for the street. I can do anything.
To be fair, you shouldn't have parked horizontally across the road, blocking both lanes.
It's Cornwall. I thought everyone could do whatever the hell they want in Cornwall.
Yeah, but you didn't have the pirate flag hanging out the back of the window.
No, I didn't have that. So that's where I've lost out. No, okay.
But yes, the
lovely
Market
village.
Inn.
Let's talk about the village first, because it was a lovely little village.
It was. Yeah, I'm still convinced it's just filled with old people, though.
But lovely houses.
I'm convinced there's nobody under the age of 60 that lives there.
God, what a dream.
Well, you wouldn't be allowed in. You're not 60 yet.
Get there.
You might look it, but... and you might act it.
I've had a hard life, Dan. I've had a tough life. How many years did I work with you?
Too long.
Do you remember I had natural colour hair back then?
Yes.
Yeah.
So did I. Yeah, all the grey around here.
Oh, yeah. Do you know what, though? That's a mark of distinction.
Yeah, I'm going for the George Clooney look.
George Clooney.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or the other fella that I can never remember the name of that's in the
I thought
Bridget
it was
Jones series.
Uncle Fester?
I'm not going bald.
Well, a little bit of the back and on top.
Yeah. So
Is your
what
dad
you
bald?
can't
But
see.
Dan, is your dad bald?
Yeah.
Oh. Is your granddad bald?
No.
On your mum's side?
No.
Oh, that's a shame.
I do have the hair of my granddad on my mum's side.
Yeah, apparently
This is his hair.
it's not a mystery. But apparently you take the hair of your mother's side if you're a male.
Yeah, that's what all the barbers seem to say, and that's what yeah.
And if I'm absolutely honest with you, my granddad had exactly the same hair as me. I've got this picture of him when he was younger, and it's got this hair sticking up. And it's like this big Boo-Foon. It looked like bloody Rick Astley when I was younger. They had the same hairstyle as Rick Astley. Now, I actually remember once was in a taxi, and the guy looked at me and said, "Are you Rick Astley?" Jeez,
I wondered why you had such a problem with Rick Astley.
I hate Rick Astley because that's what the guy said to me. "Are you Rick Astley?" It's like, no.
No, when we were talking about his brewery earlier, and you're like, "Yeah, I don't like Rick Astley." Now I know why. That's mysteries.
I'd rather go to Ian McKellen's.
Yeah, that's a very cool pub.
Yeah, I want to see Gandalf's staff.
Yeah, I've seen it.
I bet you have.
I've been to that pub multiple times.
So everyone thinks you've been to public school.
Yeah, probably, most likely, yeah.
So you see Gandalf's staff.
But yes, the village of St. Clear, the houses were nice. The well was pretty cool next to the old Celtic cross.
Well, the well.
Well.
Is it well or well?
Well.
Well. The well was supposed to be like,
You sound Welsh when you say that.
Well,
Yeah.
it's funny when
To the well, boy.
when my wife does Welsh accent, she sounds so Indian. It's awful. She's like, she's taking. Not going to do any accents.
That to be fair, that's the running joke in my family as well. My dad, every time he tries to do any accent, it comes out Indian. So the running joke is, you do an Indian accent, and then one of my brothers will sit there and go, "Oh,
Is that Welsh?
That's a nice Spanish accent you're doing there." Until my dad sticks his fingers up at us.
Yeah. Mystery. How I don't get away with that. The well.
Yeah, it'd been restored.
Was it 15th, 16th, 15th, or 14th and 15th century initially?
Yes. Yeah, so it's like 600 years old or something.
And it was basically a ruin, and it was basically the water that provided, the well that provided fresh water and also cures, I think, to ailments. So there was actually apparently somewhere where there's probably a nice 1930s semi-detached house now, was the pond or the pool that you could actually wash yourself in this, special well, the spring water from it. Then it just obviously just let to rot over the years. And then in the 18th century?
Yeah, it was in the Victorian era.
Yeah, somebody brought it back. The family, they used their money to restore it. And it looks amazing. It's lovely. But it's completely dry. There's nothing. There's no water in there anymore. It looks like it's been blocked off. The most interesting part of it, though, was right next to it is a Celtic cross. It must be 7 foot tall. And it's one of the oldest Celtic crosses in existence, apparently. And it was fascinating.
Yeah, and I did read on the sign that they don't actually know how old the cross is,
Yeah.
purely because they've dated the stone and that, but they can't seem to figure out just how old it is. They know it's very old, but they couldn't say for certain how old. Just, it's very old.
And that's what's just amazing. That's what I love about this place is what we've discovered in the last couple of days is you literally in Devon and Cornwall. I don't know if it's the same anywhere else. I mean, I used to live in North London and in Bedfordshire, and I've lived in Essex, and there's nothing like that there. I've lived in Southend and Westcliff. All these places I've lived in over the years, nothing like in the Southwest where you can just drive around the corner and there you see a Neolithical burial mound or a Celtic cross that no one can actually age or date. There's so much here. Stone circles, which are 2,000 or 6,000 years old, whatever it is. It's like you can't see that anywhere else. You can't see that. We were chatting to a nice couple from Cornwall, a couple of guys from Cornwall, in the last pub, which we haven't gone into yet.
Yes.
And they're in Cornwall. They come from Yorkshire. And they were saying how similar Yorkshire is to Cornwall and Devon.
Yeah, and they've given us some ideas of places to possibly visit in Yorkshire in the future.
But it is strange that these places you can't find in and around London, the centre, the capital of the country, where everything sort of revolves around, what was it, Birmingham, Manchester, London. But the centres of civilization and the mystery and everything that makes life interesting seems to be in the southwest or, Devon, Cornwall, Yorkshire.
So you've got old Roman ruins in London, but you've got to go when the place is open to go and look at it. Whereas these, they're just there all the time.
Thousands of years older than the Roman Empire.
And obvious as well.
Hundreds of years.
Like you've got in London, right near the Tower of London, there's a church. And if you go into the church, right into the basement of the church, and anyone can do this, and it's free, you don't have to pay any money, go right into the bottom. There's all old Roman stuff there.
Mm.
I only knew about it because of a TikTok video I saw. There's no signs anywhere near this church, anywhere near the Tower of London, but this church has, right down underneath it, Roman ruins that people can visit. I knew about it because of a TikTok video of somebody talking about secret locations in London.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Whereas this cross, it's just very obvious.
Yeah, it's just there, side of the road.
It?
People probably drive past it every day. We passed how many Neolithical and Celtic stones?
So many.
And monuments. And
it was actually after the marketing when we went to a Neolithic, was it burial site? Burial mound. 20-ton
stone slabs put together to make a burial site. And just there, and you go for people were just walking the dogs in the field, and you got this Neolithical burial mound,
and there's us standing there like, this is cool, and like those people there walking their dogs, just walking past, like, what they looking at, what's
and if we post this, we'll put a picture on the video version of this, and we'll put it on social media. So there'll be a picture of Dan in there looking very cozy.
That's the one you want me to post?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah,
okay.
Just in your pants. No, I mean the thing is, Dan said it actually. I take a picture. I'll go inside. I'll sit in there, and if it lands on me, at least it's a good photo.
Yeah. And now I'm a ghost.
Yeah. So we got the picture of him with his pants on. Sorry, because that weird, very strange guy came by us. You said, "Yep, okay, he's from Cornwall."
Yeah, yeah. Looked. Now, I don't normally stereotype people, but those of you who have watched Time Team, in Time Team, there's the guy that's very Cornish. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but the thing that always stuck with me from Time Team was him going, "Proper job." And that's always stuck with me for life. And to me, that is what every Cornish man looks like. In the back of my head is the guy from Time Team that goes, "Proper job." And he looked just like him.
He did. And he didn't look very happy to see us there.
No, because we were in the way of his dog walk, because we were looking at history. So he definitely wasn't the man from Time Team, because he would have been cool. That he would have been like, "Oh, look, they're looking at history stuff." This guy was just moody because we were in his favourite field to walk his dog.
Yeah.
But
let's go back to the pub.
Let's go back to the pub.
So we finally made it to the pub.
And in there, and again, it's another landlady. The last one was the landlord. Here's the landlady, Elizabeth Lord. She was actually the landlady for 43 years until she died in 1903, and she's been seen wandering around the corridors and the living quarters upstairs. Mother Payne Muriel, who is another former landlady, is also said to haunt the inn. And now this was one that I deliberately went in and tried to smell, but I think it's all been modernised, refurbished, so therefore there was no
But
way of smelling it.
the smell should still been there if it was real.
Yes, if it was ghostly.
Yeah.
Is the tobacco or pipe smoke. And now I didn't smell any of that, and it did look like the paint, the whole place had been refurbished, fresh paint and everything.
But that shouldn't matter with the spirit realm.
Yeah.
Decorating shouldn't matter.
No, it shouldn't. Which
It
makes
should
you
still
think,
be there.
was it just the woodwork? Was it just the woodwork? Was it just in the wood?
Yeah. So sorry, say that again, because I want to tell you my story from my dad about the smell.
The tobacco pipe smoke being detected in the pub.
That's it. Yeah. I mean, tobacco smoke and smells really seem to be with these sort of ghostly experiences. My dad, who is now in his 80s, nearly 90s, I remember when we were younger telling me about a house he used to stay in that was my granddad's. My granddad used to move around all the time with my nan, and we never really saw them. They always moved around. But before we were born, so we're talking probably in the 60s, early 70s, very early 70s, but 60s, him and my mum went to stay with her mum and dad. And they lived in this house in Luton. And it was, again, an old terraced house made out of stone because it was so old. And he told me about the time where he could smell cigar smoke. And I think they all smoked cigarettes. My dad didn't smoke, but he could smell cigar smoke, and it was just really different. And in the middle of the night, he went downstairs into the living room of this small terraced house in Luton, and there was an indentation on the settee, and he could see smoke just floating there, and he could smell the cigar smoke. And he swears that this is real, that he could smell the smell of cigars and see the smoke and an indentation where somebody was sitting, but there was no one there. Everybody was in bed, everyone was asleep. So smoke and that sort of thing is quite common. Not common, but it's
Smoke
very
is
strong.
common. And sand and things and wind and be whipped up being that's very common with ghosts.
But that it just seems to be that a lot of people say they see stuff and they can't explain it, but it's when you hear things. Obviously sight, sound, but smell.
Well, smell, especially tobacco and pipe smoke. That's a very common one of, pipe. Sorry, pipe smoke is a very common one with ghosts, where there's quite a lot of ghost stories around the fact that apparently if you sit in a certain area of a pub or a bar, you can smell the pipe smoke from a patron that used to go in there many years ago. And the thing that all of those pubs tend to have in common is when you look up, there's old wooden beams that have been there and haven't been polished or looked after in centuries or decades. And when you get closer to the beam of wood, the stronger the smell is. And I've experienced that in several places. So that smell is always there. But then there are loads of ghosts that apparently leave smells. And it always seems to be smells like embalming fluid or, lily of the valley and things like that. The smells of flowers and scents that are linked to death. That tends to be a common smell with ghosts. So people do apparently smell things and think that they're ghosts.
But there is a real difference, though, to smelling old smoke. Probably too much detail, but a few years ago we were looking, not a few years ago, a couple of years ago, we were looking to move. And we were looking to move up north to sort of Leicestershire, which would have been a central location for family. Doesn't really matter. Anyway, we were looking and we found this beautiful house that had been fully converted, but the owners were heavy smokers, and they had been smoking in that house since their mother, because they'd lived in the house since the mother was there. They had lived there, They'd converted his house. It was like this amazing American log cabin inside. So much wood, but the smell of stale smoke was horrendous, to a point where we would have bought it in an instant if there was no smoke in there. But because it smelled so bad, I checked it up, and you'd have to remove the plaster, and you have to replace all the wood and all the beams and everything. But it smelled like stale smoke. It doesn't smell like fresh smoke. And that's the thing. There's a real difference between stale. I think one of the pubs we visited, I said, this smells like a Wetherspoons. It smells dirty and, like no one's actually cleaned anything. But of course, there I let it off because it's a pub 600 years old. Most Wetherspoons aren't. But to actually smell stale smoke that's ingrained into the building, into the structure, is so much different to fresh smoke, especially cigar smoke.
Yeah.
It's a very different smell. And for example, my dad to say that was like he could see the smoke floating in the air and he could smell the fresh cigar smoke.
Yeah.
That was really odd because nobody there smoked cigars.
Yeah.
And these places, this house, this pub, for example, where people could smell it, there is a real difference between fresh and stale.
There is.
Back then, of course, it wouldn't have made much difference because people smoked all the time. But if you're talking, obviously, the last 10, 15, 20 years, whatever it was, it's been banned. So if a pub smells like fresh smoke, it shouldn't do, because there shouldn't be anybody smoking there, or at least for 15. When did the smoking ban come in? It was.
I want to say 2006.
Okay, so let's say coming up to 20 years.
I want to say 2006.
Okay, I'm going to Google it now. Do you know, I'm not going to Google it because I haven't got my glasses on.
But it was
I
there.
I was trying to Google, but I actually just turned my camera on. That's how bad my eyesight is.
Well, going back to the marketing, so there was the tobacco, and they've also said things about finding broken glasses that have been found after the pub was locked up for the night. They've found things thrown on the floor, and a ghost called Sam that pinches the bottoms of ladies in the cellar and plays tricks. Oh, and Steve has just Googled the smoking ban. It's 2007. I was 1 year out.
God, he's so good. It's a mystery how he's so good.
Mystery.
Mm.
But while we were there, I will admit that pub felt like
A pub.
cheap knockoff Wetherspoon.
Yeah,
I think that's fair to say.
I would say it didn't feel any special. I tell you what did feel special, though. The people were lovely.
Yes.
And they had good choice of music.
Well, that was because you went to the jukebox to play a very special song.
Yes, it was so nice. I actually sat in this pub. It's the first time I've ever done it. Went to a jukebox, took out £2 using my chip and pin, and got £2 cash, so I could actually play my son's band's music on loop for the next half an hour.
Yeah.
It was great. Yeah, I'm really proud of my boy and his band. It's not his band, but he's part of the band. And to actually listen to the music in the pub, and this is pretty cut out, but it was lovely to hear them actually in the pub. But then down to these lovely couple
let's give
met.
a shout out, James Marriott.
James Marriott is, which they are doing their world tour probably when this comes out, or they may have finished the world tour by the time this comes out. But they did get a #1 album. I'm very proud of them. And it was lovely to actually see them on a jukebox and play them.
Yeah.
And then I got back to the seat, and Dan was talking to a lovely couple.
Oh, they were the perfect locals in a pub. Absolute perfect locals in a pub. But they seemed to know everyone that was in there. They were called Jim and Les, and they were saying hello to everyone. They knew everyone by name. They must live in that pub.
It did feel so special, and it's a kind of that's the kind of environment you want to be, where people actually know you and care and say hi. It reminded me of Cheers.
Yes.
In Cheers, when Norm walks in, everyone's hi Norm, everyone shouts it. It's like Jim and Les knew everybody, and everybody knew them.
And I was just chatting to them about what we were doing, that we were looking for haunted pubs. And I explained to them the story that I've just explained to you guys over here of the marketing. And they went, oh no, we've never felt anything here. However, Trevor,
Yeah.
have you been to the Crow's Nest down the road?
In Crow's Nest.
And we said yes, and we got talking. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop the interview, because they actually agreed very kindly to be interviewed about their experience of the Crow's Nest. And I'm just going to drop that in here, just right here. So the next voices you'll hear are us in the marketing talking to Jim and Les about the Crow's Nest. So we're here with Jim and Les, and we're actually in the Market Inn. However, you've got a story about a pub close by to here.
Yes, I have. The Crow's Nest. Myself and Les was in there about 2 years ago, sat down at the fire, and a man came in and ordered a pint of lager. And then he had to move out and go to the toilet. And as he went out the toilet, the pint was just thrown off the counter.
It flew off.
It just flew off the counter. And the man that was in charge of the pub said, that happens quite often in here. And so that was the first time I ever saw him there, but apparently it happens quite often. Also, the clock apparently goes haywire.
Round and round
and
and round.
round.
Yeah.
But we actually saw that happen.
Coins was another thing we forgot to mention.
Coins used to come on the bar, appear on the bar.
Coins would flip and just go on the floor.
We never saw that, but we did see the pint of beer being upended.
Yeah, we actually saw that
on the bar. Yes.
But Kevin went, "Oh my God!"
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And Martin jumped back.
Yeah.
Nobody touched anything.
Nobody touched it.
No,
yeah.
really strange.
Absolutely.
Well, the interesting thing is when we visited the Crow's Nest earlier, we actually read a story about one of the old landladies. I believe her name was Jenny, off the top of my head, who she had started pouring a beer, left it on the side, ready to finish off, and then it flew off at her. So the beer ended up being thrown at her. So it's actually really weird how we read that story, and then you guys have got another story.
I mean, people say, this didn't happen, but we actually saw that. At the beer, we saw the beer.
Yeah, because it was Martin behind
the bar.
Kevin was the man who brought the pint in, and you and I there.
That's right.
Just before.
He came back in for the
lead. Another guy came in just after it happened. I said, "Oh, you've missed just what happened."
Just missed what happened. Yeah, and the pint just flew off the bar. It was just like someone tipped it over.
Kevin.
We saw that. Actually. We saw that.
Yeah.
But as I say, I hope you have a look up at the Jamaica Inn now. You're going up there, right?
Yes, we're now heading up to the Jamaica Inn, yes.
Oh, wonderful. That's wonderful.
Well, there's a lady on the reception there who's very pleasant. And I'm
She's
sure
lovely,
if there's any stories to be told, she can help you out with it.
Yeah, I'm there. So, I wish you well with it.
Good luck.
I wish you well.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very
Not
much.
at all. You're quite welcome.
welcome.
Wish you well with your new adventure.
Yes, indeed.
So, have you ever seen anything else? Was that the first time you've seen anything like that?
I saw things in Ireland. Well, maybe I didn't see him. Maybe I did, or maybe I didn't. Because sometimes when you're a child, things
appear to be different. Yeah.
We saw a few things, me and my grandmother, and we saw what we thought was a lady walking down a lane. And then when we got home, that time we had open fires, and we had what you call a poker. It used to be.
Yeah.
And when we opened the door, the poker was actually thrown out of the fireplace out onto the middle of the floor. But you see things and you hear things.
There's probably a reason for it, but you never know.
It is what it is. Because Ireland was full of ghost stories. I was up in an area when there was only a radio in the house, really, and people would come and sit down and have a cup of tea, and they would tell these outrageous ghost stories. And then, of course, when you went on a bicycle into the village, you were looking at every nook and cranny to see if something was going to jump out.
So the story is just to entertain, or do you think
they were entertainment, and people swore by that?
I think Irish folklore is quite renowned for being.
Yeah.
What do you call it?
It's outrageous.
Well, accentuating the fact that it is probably 10 times less than what they said it is.
Then when I was brought up, there was such a thing as a banshee.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And so the banshee apparently follows certain families. So when someone's about to die, apparently this thing screeches outside the window. I've never seen that myself. And the other thing is a light. Apparently there's a light that lights up the whole house when someone is dying. Apparently, it's all superstition sort of stuff.
That's the word I was searching for. Ireland is full of superstition.
Superstition.
And your daughter's the same, isn't
Oh,
she?
full.
Oh, Mrs. So-and-so down the road. Oh, God, you know, and you
Yeah,
listen.
they are full of it. They are full of it, you know.
You do listen to it and laugh.
I
but
remember when I was a boy,
they
a long
believe
time
it.
ago, if you went to a farmer on the first day of May, they would not give you any milk because it's an old witches thing that goes back. And apparently the witches used to do what they used to call skim the wells. So they'd have a cup and they'd sit by the well and they'd, all around here is mine. And they'd skim the wells and take the butter off the churns.
Okay.
Of course it's only, it's what it is, but people believed in all that, you know.
Well, people do, you see, and then they
People do that. It's very superstitious. Ireland was very superstitious.
There's that thing with legends, isn't it? That they all start from something.
Well, they have
So
to start from
something must
something.
have happened.
Yes, they have. Yeah,
Must
they have.
have,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that place up on Wishman's Wood. I mean, that place there has got it's supposed to be really haunted.
Well, it's because of the stunted oaks,
It's because of the
isn't
stunted
it?
oaks,
Yeah.
you know. And
Yeah.
it's supposed to be the home of the dead hunt. The dead hunt comes out like that. There's a great story about an old farmer walking across the moor, and he met the dead hunt. And he said, "Give me some of your spoils." And apparently they threw a dead baby to him. But what a, you know, all these things, you know.
Well, they've all been sort of, fabricated a little bit more over the years.
Yes.
So you've got to get back to the basics of the story, haven't you?
Where
Yeah.
else? There's a couple of places, isn't there?
Well, you've
Yeah.
got to go to Sowerton, or you have to.
You got to go see Sowerton, even if you see the pub itself.
Yep.
Because the pub is unusual to look
It's
at.
not. It's on a main road.
Yeah.
There's only a couple of houses opposite, a little close, and that's it. But it's just spooky, isn't it?
Very
It's
spooky.
If you
Very
get
spooky.
inside, if you can get inside,
Yeah.
delay your departure, dear. That's.
They're lovely. They're really nice, but it is an unusual pub.
Yeah.
It's a very unusual
I
pub.
think we should make an effort.
Yes,
Yeah,
we should.
You should have a go there. And
They're
just go
open
in.
12 to 3 and 6 to 9, so you probably
Yeah, so you
12 to
probably
3
can
if
eat
you're
there,
still
yeah.
around.
Do that.
Yeah, it's Sowerton.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not that far actually. To be honest.
We'll get that on. Is that before or after Jamaica?
Well, we should be able to get there after Jamaica in.
Are you going to ring them first, just to be sure?
I shall do.
Yeah.
After
Yes.
your recommendation.
Well, yes, because you have to check, don't you?
Yeah,
Definitely.
just to say.
But if it's open, I wish you well, because it really is quite a spooky place.
It's a
yeah.
lovely place.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
And they've got this door from the shipwreck that's 300 years old, and you go through this door and you can see it. And it's really interesting. Yeah, it's a really interesting place. Jamaica,
And
not
of course,
so
you
much.
might not be talking to anybody at all, because she told me they were invisible.
Yeah, but
I was so
she was trying to
gutted,
drum up trade, wasn't
Yes, okay, dear. I actually touched one, and he was quite solid, yes.
We went to the Minerva room in Plymouth. I don't know if you've ever been to the Minerva, which is the one that's actually built from wood from the Spanish galleons.
Really?
At the
Where
Armada,
is
it's actually
that?
built- It's just in Plymouth. It's some of the side streets. It's as
It's just off the Barbican. So if you're in the Barbican area,
Yes.
you sort of go slightly towards the centre, and it's
Okay.
in a back road. But it's all made of old, washed up.
Oh, I like
shipwreck-
that.
Oh,
solid
shipwreck
stone,
wood,
like-
yeah.
I like
It's
this.
all made out of all this,
Love that.
and it's made out of
Yeah, I love that.
apparently the guest bedroom upstairs, or there's a spiral staircase going upstairs, which the centre of the spiral staircase is a mask for
Yeah.
one of the
Oh,
Spanish
wow, how
galleons. And
interesting.
apparently it's supposed to be very haunted. And
Well-
it's got big stone fireplaces all built out of stone.
There's a place not far from you, Oundle,
Oundo.
right?
Just go thinking of the same thing.
What's your
Great
hotel? What's the
minds.
name of the hotel?
Called the Talbot Inn in
Talbot Inn.
Oundle.
Talbot, yeah.
Outside of Peterborough.
Now that's supposed to be haunted, and the staircase going up is the one that Mary Queen of Scots walked down the morning she was executed,
Oh, wow.
because the castle was just down the road from there.
Yeah, they.
So, and we went up there. It's beautiful, but it's the one she walked down the morning, and it was taken out of, is it Fotheringay Castle?
Fotheringay
Fotheringay
Castle.
Castle.
Yeah.
And they have the staircase there, and it's wonderful. The actual staircase, you can walk up it. Yeah, it's really good. That's the one. Where else did we go? It was-
Oh, God, we've been so many
God
places.
almighty.
Yeah, we love spooks as well.
Oh,
so,
we
yeah.
love that. Oh, room 19 at
Boscastle.
Boscastle.
At the
At what the hotel? Jesus.
22.
Room 19 has got a terrible reputation.
Okay.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
can't do it all this time.
No,
No.
but
You'll
it's
have to
there.
come back again.
Come back again.
And then come and see us again, tell us how you get on.
You
Room,
can be our guests on the next podcast.
I'll tell you.
So yeah, They also saw the glass being thrown.
They saw the glass.
They
didn't
actually
just
saw
hear
the
about
glass.
it. Right, okay. The thing that led to this, make this more interesting, is in between, on the drive to this pub, I was saying to Dan, I kind of disregard any claim that was somebody saw this in 1823 or 1925. There was one report of somebody saw somebody walk through. I'm not really interested in those, because they could be, you could be drunk, you could be whatever, I don't know, you could just be trying to tell a story.
Yeah.
But it's the experiences that are experienced by more than one person at the same time that interest me. Honestly, I mean, I like I say, my experience, which I've mentioned before, which we will talk about in depth at another date, was two of us saw that. I had another experience where I experienced something unexplainable with somebody else, and we both experienced it. This is, again, another story that multiple people experience something. And to hear what Jim said and Les said, just like, this is what I want to hear.
And, if I'm being completely honest, I could have, even though I didn't really like the pub, and going back to the whole rating of pub, I would have rated that pub probably 3-4 out of 10 personally. I didn't like it. I think if we weren't there ghost hunting, I would have happily turned around and left the pub and not even bothered to buy a drink.
It didn't have much atmosphere, but that may be because of us. I mean, again, I'm not a great pub goer. But what I did like, the more I sat there, the fact that we met Jim and Les and we saw how they were interacting with everybody else, and the fact that they had a jukebox which I could play the music which I wanted to hear, and the barman was happy to give me £2, on a, those little things that made a difference. So I'd put it higher than the average. Well, no, I put it a lot higher than a Weatherspoons, for example. Just because the more we stayed there, the more we got to see what was around. Okay, again, it was just talking Coke Zero. I don't think they had a huge selection of beers.
No, I ended up with just a generic beer.
Snacks were the same as all the other bar snacks. It wasn't bridge, but the people were the thing that made that special. It was the people. So pub wise, I would give it a 5 out of 10. Now this is when Weatherspoons gets a 2 out of 10. They would get a 5 out of 10. People wise, I would give the people there a good 8-9 out of 10, as far as the fact that Jim and Les were absolutely lovely. They were so nice to us, and they just knew everybody, and everybody knew them. It was a lovely thing.
Sat and chatted to Jim and Les for hours. And I bet they've still got more stories. I bet they've got millions of stories.
The stories they told us and the advice they gave us before the memory card ran out, which unfortunately ran out too soon. They're such lovely people. And they were just the regulars in the pub. They were the locals.
Yeah, and they were just great.
They were the heart and soul. You know what? They're the kind of people, when you hear these stories about people who haunt the pubs, the people who are parts of something, and you think these people who haunt an area because they're a part of it and they can't bear to leave it. They're the kind of people I would love to think that they would be there enjoying that in the atmosphere in 100 years' time.
Yes, 100%. 100%.
And that's, they're the heart and soul of pretty much everything that goes on. We need to have people who are lovely, who will talk to strangers, who will just welcome them. And they did. So it was a lovely experience. Pub, average.
Yes.
Which it may have got better if we stayed longer. I'm sure after a few more drinks, we'd have been a lot happier.
Yeah.
But it wasn't spooky. And if we're doing a spooky set,
not at all.
Nah, not spooky. The village, lovely village.
Yes.
I would happily retire there in about 4 years, when I should hopefully retire, being the age I am.
Well, let's hope we get more more people subscribing to the Patreon.
You
and
can
more
retire
people
there as
listening,
well.
and then we can both retire in 4 years.
Yeah. No, I mean, it was that part of it made that special. Like the other barman, like the barman in the previous pubs, they did add a lot to it. That interaction, it is a skill that a lot of people, younger people, seem to hard, especially people who have been through COVID, are struggling with that.
Definitely.
I'm sure things will get better as long as we never go back to the dark times of the 2020s.
Yes.
But it was lovely. That's what made that pub for me.
It did.
This interview and the questions, and they were so welcoming, and they just, gave us so much.
They did. And then we moved to... I was going to be very mean then, and I was going to call it Tourist Trap Inn. I was going to be very
it's
mean.
fair. It's fair.
But it was called the Jamaica Inn.
Right. Okay. This place of Jamaica Inn, some people don't believe it even existed. They think it's just in stories. Jamaica Inn is a real place. It is an old place. It has history.
Yes, I believe it dates back to the 1700s, I believe.
It is a true, as Dan will read in a minute, hopefully, that it is a true... There is history of smugglers, the Cornish smugglers there, and there is a history, and there is, there's something there, but it's turned into Disneyland.
Yes. Yeah, so the history of the place is it was built in the 1700s. It was used by smugglers because it was built as a tavern to change your horse and carriage, to refresh, to keep going. And you're quite a distance from the ocean, but it's sort of a midway point where you could possibly meet from different ships to then go off into the rest of England and the British Isles. So there is a lot of history there of smugglers exchanging. And ghost-wise, it appeared on a famous TV show, Most Haunted, in 2004, I believe the episode came out. And they said it's very, very haunted, and loads of stories about ghosts, which all link into local legend of ghosts, with a man in a tricorn hat and a tight overcoat floating through the solid doors. There's ghosts that go between rooms 3, 4, 5, and 6, and very haunted. A story of, and I don't know why this will make me laugh, but it does. A lady who woke up one evening because the telly had turned on, so she got the remote control. The remote control flew out of her hand, and she couldn't find the remote control. And in the morning, it was under the bed.
So she left the TV on overnight and then waited till the morning to find a remote control.
And it was under the bed.
Rubbish, it really is.
And there's a ghost that goes through the walls of the hotel rooms, and a lady that walks through tables in the bar, and a horse and a rider in the courtyard that's only seen on damp and misty mornings, a green-cloaked man that comes, and so on and so forth. Basically, this pub seems to have, if you can think of a ghost story...
It doesn't have any ghost pigs, though.
No ghost pigs.
That's about all it lacked.
Yeah.
The only thing it missed is ghost pigs. But the place, you'd go there, and we went, I'm assuming we went to the oldest part of it. And it's like a shell. It's like if 98% of this entire site is new, is modern. It's just made to look old. There may be just, I'm sure even the area we've seen is just
so the bit
added onto it.
Sat in was the original part.
Because it still makes it, I think it's still too big. I think the original part would be just where the bar is. I would say that would be the original.
The original bit on the floor plan is, the hotel bit where the toilets were, where it says about the author that owned it.
Yeah.
That's the original coaching inn, up to the bit where we were sitting in, and it was originally an L shape. And where it had the museum outside the Smugglers Museum?
Yeah.
That was the old sort of stables. So that it was the L shape.
Okay, we so converted stables into
the bit that's all new was that bit all at the back. When you went through
the restaurant, the dining room, the hotel, everything else.
The
theme
park,
park,
was a farm shop,
yeah, that's right.
Gift shop, and
yeah, and it was all shut.
It was.
This is the summertime. We visited. Kids are off holiday. Why is it all shut at 5 o'clock?
And
and people were saying, why is it closed? They wanted to go to look at the gift shop and the farm shop, and it was all shut.
And there's a campsite right next door.
Yeah, everyone's walking around. All the staff are walking around. Okay, we went there. We tried to order the drink. There's one old lady there who was trying, and it took 25 minutes for us to get served.
Yes.
They're all wearing earpieces like they're bloody, Trump's security detail. That's right. They're all, and it's like, what the... It's like, this is nonsense. You push a button and says, can I have some help? No one turns up for help in the bar.
And most of them were just standing, milling around the dining room, of which there were hardly
They're
any
like
customers.
Secret Service agents. It's like, this is ridiculous. Everywhere you looked, there was pictures of ghosts and stories about people who died. And here's some phantom pictures. Here's a picture of a Victorian ghost. It's like,
the random mannequins of a pirate behind a bar.
Yeah. This was, right, the Jamaica Inn, allegedly the second most haunted pub or place in the UK, is a theme park, and it's a
It is.
badly made theme park. The pub is owned by a chain, and it feels like it's owned by a chain. It has a big restaurant, a big hotel. It's all about making money. There was nothing that felt authentic there.
And it made me laugh that when we looked at for some of the research for the stories of the ghosts there on their website, there's a whole section about ghosts. And at the start of the section, before you even get into the story of the ghosts, it says, if you wish to stay here to explore because you're a ghost hunter, a YouTuber, or a podcaster, please email us on this.
TV production companies, individuals, social groups, team building, all this stuff.
Yeah. And then it goes into, here are the ghost stories.
Yeah.
So it's very clear the whole thing is a money-making tourism scheme.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what it felt like. You said a theme park. It felt like Land's End.
Land's End is very disappointing.
Which is just, you've got the sign there that you've got to pay an extortionate amount to
So
have a
your
picture
picture
next
taken.
to.
Bloody hell.
And then you've got to pay to get in. You've got to pay to park, pay to get through the gates. And then it's just a massive theme park. We've got to pay for everything. And then you look out and go, yep, I'm at Land's End.
Yeah, there's the sea, there's the land. Oh, look, it ends.
Yeah, and that's what it felt like. It felt like that theme park that they've built at Land's End.
We did eat at the Jamaica Inn. And actually, no, before we talk about the food, I did find the most interesting fact about the place was the author, Alistair MacLean, who wrote great thrillers back in the day, owns the entire Jamaica Inn for about 15 years, but only bothered to stay there twice or 3 times. Even he couldn't be bothered to stay there, and he bought the place.
Yeah. And I can understand why.
It was, oh, yeah. And then we ordered food. And like I said, this is where the food was a real letdown. It was expensive.
It was expensive. For what we got on the plate,
Yeah.
it was stupidly expensive.
The fish and chips were no more than the Borata Inn, which we had the previous day in Dartmoor, which was far better.
Yes, far better.
This was...
And it was cheaper at the Borata Inn as well.
It's
and the
a theme
Borata
park.
Inn, the food there was lush.
And we know the actual ghosts there were actually the ones serving us, so that's okay then.
Yes.
But Jamaica Inn, historical, but it was once historical in a way that a lot of places were historical, but then just took over by commercialism.
Yes.
And that's what it was nothing. I hate to say it because I've always wanted to go, but I was so disappointed I would never go back again. There was nothing there that made it special. It was right by the giant A road or motorway or whatever it was, and all you could hear outside were cars rushing past.
Yeah.
It had no feeling of anything. There was no authenticity about it. Even when you walked to the back, right? I realized when we had a walk around afterwards.
Yes.
I walked around and thought, okay, it looks exactly the same wherever you are. Then you go outside and you realize this is an extension.
Yeah.
And they've molded the inside to look just like
and nothing.
The rest of it.
It felt like, and we know that the bit that we sat in was the original bit. However, this next sentence even goes with that bit. It felt like somebody went. It felt like going to America, and someone in America went, what does a British pub look like?
Yep.
This is what it looks like. And they built it. It looked far too clean, far too nice. It didn't. And yes, the bit we sat in, it was genuine beams and all that, but it didn't feel real. It felt fake. It wouldn't have surprised me if a little puppet of a pirate came past going like, yo ho ho, yo ho ho, yo
or somebody
ho, ho.
Someone stuck a sheet on and just ran past the window.
Yeah.
It was just, and again, all those pictures of ghosts, of Victorian ghosts and everything. And it's like, this is just, they're trying too hard. They're trying to suggest this to you. I give that, I would rather go to the local Wetherspoons, to be honest. I think I was offended by it, by the fact that they were milking this reputation for everything without any genuine feel of anything apart from they're here just to make money. And it's a chain. That's the other thing I want to say. The Jamaica Inn, which you imagine should be this historical building protected by the local council, local authority, Anybody who deals with history or some association should have kept this as it was. It's built by a chain who have made it into not a fast food, but a typical pub dining experience with a hotel stuck on it and
Yes.
charging a premium price for nothing. And then saying that the ghost walks through those rooms. Which rooms did you say? Like
3, 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah. And the building wasn't even there back in the day. This is a modern building. This is a modern extension, which I've tried to make look like it. Yeah, I didn't like it. I was not happy at all. I'd give it a 3 out of 5, maybe a 2 out of 5, just out of objection for the whole thing.
Yeah, you see, I think I'd have to go a 1 out of 10.
Yeah. So that's out of 5.
You
yeah,
did
out
say
of 10.
5, but it's fine. And I think I'd much rather, you know the whole joke about special brew. I think I'd much rather have just had a can of special brew and sat under a bridge somewhere like a tramp.
Yeah, would have been cheaper.
It would have
and
been
it
cheaper.
would be more satisfying.
Yeah,
because at least you would have got something out of Sit Like a Tramp.
Yeah.
There, it's just
great big bushy beard.
It just didn't. There was no atmosphere. It was an old building, but because of all this modernization, it just felt like nothing.
Yeah.
I can't imagine a single person seeing a ghost unless they've looked at these pictures, got drunk, and thought, "Oh, I remember there was somebody with a Victorian ghost. This guy was sitting with a head on his lap." Yeah, it was on a photograph behind you.
Yeah, and like you said earlier, the family near us, they were all talking about ghosts.
Mm.
But I think that came out of the child's curiosity of looking at the pictures that were on the walls that had ghosts in, as opposed to them naturally going there because they had heard that it was spooky.
Jamaica, one of the most disappointing experiences of my life. And I've had some seriously disappointing experiences in my life.
Look, I'm sorry we spoke about last night. I'm very sorry. I will use
Dan,
the tablets next time.
Your ghost trap opened for me. That's all I needed. No, it was very, very disappointing. I think we left quite on a low from that point.
We did. But then we sort of...
And this is, again, the next story that Dan is just about to tell us is, again, thanks to the brilliant Jim and Les.
Jim and Les, they told us to go here because we had originally planned on going back into Plymouth a different route.
By Saltash. I'd seen some, Saltash ghosts.
And, but Jim and Les said, go to the Highwayman Inn, which is...
There are 3 of them, so you have to make sure you get the right one.
It's the one in Sowerton, to be exact. Right on the A386.
Sorry, before we carry on, I just want to say, if I hadn't have been drinking Coke Zero for the entire day, these single lane roads could have been a death trap. We could have claimed hairy hands on a dozen occasions. But luckily, I was as sober as Judge Jeffries.
You were, very
the
much.
Black Pig of Dartmoor.
With the ghost sow and the little...
Skin and bone.
Oh, there's a pig here somewhere.
It's me, Judge Jeffries.
But, and this also caused a bit of drama with your family where... Yes.
My daughter's not talking to me now.
Yeah. Sorry, Louise, if you're listening to this. Sorry, Louise.
We love you, Louise. We will. I'm going to take you and your mum. We're going to go and have a special trip to this very... And I'm not saying this ironically. This isn't me saying... I'm honestly saying Jamaica Inn, awful experience. This was wonderful. Almost like a drug-fueled dream. Not like I've had many.
Yeah,
but...
and the hilarious thing is, we've just slated the Jamaica Inn for basically being a
Disneyland.
Disneyland. This next pub is Disneyland. But I think the difference is Jamaica Inn are very much, there's ghosts here, and they've clearly built up tourism around. This pub has very strange opening hours. So clearly they're either expecting a lot of trade in those small amount of hours.
No coaches, no parties, it says on us.
It does. Yeah. No minibuses.
No minibuses.
Not even coaches. A minibus. And everything about it, and there weren't many seats in there, and it was very quaint. So
Can I just say again one more time? This was the most wonderful place that I've been in since I was a child.
I just felt joy. It was the coming into the car park, and you've got the bright red high heel
heel
flower
shoes.
beds, the dragon on the roof, the horse house.
Before
I
we-
really wish I was making this up, but
Yeah.
there was a dragon on the roof, and there was
Witch's house, a little witch's cottage.
the pixie house around the
Oh,
corner.
yeah.
The fact that you go in through a coach door.
Not just a coach door, you go through a coach.
Oh yes,
And you can
the
sit
seats
and wait
inside.
in the coach to be seated. And if you are just going to look around, they're asking for a £5 donation. But if you just want to go for a drink or two, you don't pay for a donation. You can just wait to be seated, which, of course, Dan didn't wait to be seated. He did his own thing. I did wait to be seated because I'm a good boy following the rules, unless we're breaking in around the door, in. But it was, if you're waiting, right, let's say, right, okay, you're coming to the front door of this pub, and it's a coach, and you can sit inside this coach and wait to be seated. There's a lovely German couple behind me who were just another German couple, not the same one as yesterday.
Not the same one as yesterday.
But they were just absolutely blown away by the whole thing, like I was. You know, I'm a crazy Brit. They're crazy Germans. They're just absolutely blown away by it. I can't describe this place, but I'm going to let Dan describe it.
It was mad. And I will say, in a bit I'll get to the ghost, but the pub itself needs a lot of explanation. So we get seated.
Thanks, Jim. And thanks, Les.
Yeah, thanks, Jim and Les. It was amazing. Absolutely amazing. We sit in the bar, and the bar area that, so there was three different bar areas. And we were sat in the main bar area, just inside the door.
The captain's cabin, I think it was called.
Captain's cabin, and there was all contraptions everywhere. There was a fruit press. The table that we were on had a hat stretcher on it. There was a table shaped like bellows. It was like being in a blacksmith.
Like a cider press was on another table.
Yeah.
I was staring at you over this low-hanging light.
Yeah, and there were things everywhere. It was like a blacksmith. And then I went, right, and I said to Steve, I'm going to go and have a look around the corner, because he had seated some other people, the member of staff had seated some people around the corner.
The Germans who wanted food.
I went round, and there's a mummy sarcophagus looking at me. And then I walk around a bit further and go through what looked like a pirate ship door. And suddenly I'm standing in a pirate ship. There was a mermaid there. There was all the decorations that was like a pirate ship. And loads of people sitting in there eating.
It was beautifully decorated.
I then leave that bit, come back through the bar to go through the third bit of the bar.
So can I just say that, right? It's not just decorated like a pirate ship. The whole room is formed like a pirate ship.
Yeah.
Everything has been... It's like you are in a ship. It's not just like a room to look like, oh yeah, we put some wood here and put the mermaid there. This room is physically shaped like a ship. It's got cabins in it almost.
Yeah, the only thing they could have done to make it a ship
is have seamen all over the place.
Yes. And have it rocking from side to side. And it was a ship. It was like being in a ship. And it was very weird. And then you go back through the main bar into the other section of the bar, where the decorations in that part were a bit more ghostly.
It was like the Day of the Dead,
There was
from the Mexican Day of the Dead area.
With the skeleton there.
Yeah.
And then there was the devil that was a knight.
Full suit of armour and yeah.
Yeah, and that bit was all
lit like
up.
our house does here at Halloween. It's like green and purple lights. And it just, the picture you showed, I mean, I tried to go in there, but I couldn't because there's people eating. I didn't want to, unlike you, I didn't want to push past them and say, can I have a look at this?
Push past them.
You kicked the guy off the chair.
He deserved it.
Yeah.
He was in my way.
He was German.
That family weren't German, actually. They were British. But it was insane. I will have to put all the images up on.
Okay, did we say what the place was called? We didn't actually tell anybody.
Yeah, the Highwayman Inn in Sowerton.
Highwayman Inn. If you were ever in Cornwall, in Devon, in the southwest, make a trip to the Highwayman Inn.
But only Wednesday to Saturday, I believe.
12 till 3, then... No, 12 till noon, then 3 till 9.
12 till 3, 6 till 9, I think.
But either way, check the internet. find it, go. There's lots of YouTube videos of this place. That's how my daughter found out about it. And she's still so annoyed at me for it going without her. But we're going to go have food. We're going to go back. It's only 40 minutes from Plymouth. It was amazing. Amazing.
And the hilarious thing is the ghost story that goes with this. Now, this place didn't even need a ghost story to go with it, but it does. And, you know, where there was no evidence of ghosts being there, I can totally believe this story based on being in there.
I could believe it too.
Because it was just such a bonkers place that I can totally imagine this actually happening. That there's a phantom of a man in green with a feather in his hat seen walking through a wall where the route to the stables used to be located. The ghost may be Samuel, who was a cavalier. A door from a shipwreck, which is inside the pirate ship.
300-year-old shipwreck, apparently.
300-year-old shipwreck. Amazing.
And it's being used as a door in this pub.
And several members of the crew died, and apparently their phantoms are now in the pub, in the pirate ship room. And a captain named Grenville is said to haunt the bar area, which is the area we sat in, a dark, imposing male figure. And apparently caused the bell to ring.
Yeah, there is there is a bell as you go round into the ship part that says ring to let us know you're coming.
Yes, there is.
And yeah, I didn't ring it because I wasn't coming. But if that bell rung, I was looking at that bell thinking they should set something up so every so often it will just ring automatically by itself.
Yes.
This pub, I could believe it. Now, the history behind the pub, apparently that it was, the barman we spoke to said it was 800 years old. I don't think it's 800 years old. I would think maybe the site was 800 years old.
Maybe.
The building itself, I would say, was no more than 400, maybe 500 years old. Again, we're talking solid stone, like all the other pubs we're talking about. Solid stone, floors, walls, ceilings. You know, it's not going to fall down. But also with this addition, in the 1950s, it was bought by this family, who actually then created this monument to insanity, which is the interior to this pub. They decided, rather than let's have a pub that we can fit as many people in as we can and sell the beer as cheap as we can, we're going to make a pub which people are going to want to come and visit for 1,000 years. We're going to make a monument to Britishness and insanity and craziness and all the things that make this country amazing. Actually, yeah, I don't think anybody else in the world could do this. I honestly don't think that anyone else could do something as mad as that pub.
No, and it was totally mad. And
yeah.
I believe their names are Rita and Buster Jones from South Wales. I believe was their names.
And apparently the pub, unlike all the other pubs we saw today, or most of the pubs we saw today, which are part of chains, which have recently closed down, been bought, I think all but one of the pubs, I think the only one that hasn't been part of a chain, wasn't part of a chain, was the Crow's Nest. Yes. But the rest are all part of chains now, and especially...
I know, the Crow's Nest was owned by St Austell Brewery.
Okay, so they are all chains, all brewery pubs.
Yes.
This one is owned by the children of the original, of the owners who converted this in the 1950s. And yes. It's owned by the family still, which is why they haven't torn it down and stuck just seats in there. And it's just, there is something special about that.
Yeah, but it's the daughter called Sally of she's the daughter of Buster and Rita.
Funny, we found a book on the side. Dan found a book which is about mysterious Cornwall or something?
It was either Mysterious it was Mysterious Stories in general.
Okay.
It was the UK in general, I believe.
But it was signed by the author. It was actually all inscribed inside. And it was just there on the side with all the Peter and vegan and vegetarian magazines, which was a bit weird. And Bella from 2020, when it was showing you what's the face mask of 2020 to wear. You know, it's like all these crazy things. Do you remember 2020? That's when you all went mad. Yeah. That's
And it just, to be fair, it fit into the whole vibe of the pub.
It did, and it's just. But yeah, this book was actually signed by the author, and it was there, just on the shelf for us to read, right by our seat. it's the owner's children, and it's amazing. It's kept
Yeah.
hands, and they're only open for those few hours every week. And the bar staff were lovely.
They were delightful. The bar staff were absolutely delightful.
All right, and there's the couple of guys came in who were just working and come to stay for Torbay for the weekend, and they've actually come down for the few days, and we got chatting to them, and it was again brilliant. They told us a load of places in Yorkshire where they come from where we should go visit and experience some crazy ghostly activities.
Yes.
In Yorkshire. And again, we had a long conversation. The atmosphere was amazing. Everybody was chatting, everybody was smiling, everybody was friendly. I loved it. The kid, you don't know if you saw it when you were there, the kid went up to the bar and asked for the bill. He was from around the pirate. And it's
the
staff
kid with the sword.
Yeah, the kid with the sword. Second kid with the sword, actually, the one who didn't attack me, that one.
Yes.
Yeah. It was lovely to see. It just felt amazing. And I'm going back. We're going back in a couple of weeks. We're going back. For me, that's a 10 out of 10. Even though it was still a Coke Zero pub, it's a 10 out of 10.
100%. Yeah.
Spookiness, yes.
And I'll tell you what would have made it more than 10 out of 10 and would have been like Spinal Tap and turned out to 11 is if they sold some beer like Vault City beer.
Yeah.
Oh, and I know I chucked that in last time. I'm hoping that they're secretly going to sponsor us or something and start sending us free ones. I might even cut this whole bit that I'm talking about the bit, but it's because I've got one down there that I want to open.
Yeah, and I could really do with some smoothie beers for when we do these recordings.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's a few things that could make it 11 out of 10, but I can't think of. I will drive 45 minutes again.
Yes.
To go and have lunch there, to go and have a dinner there, just to experience it.
Delightful.
And I could believe, because all those things on those tables, all this stuff around the place felt authentic and old.
It was all authentic.
And they didn't oversell it. They were just, you had a manager, it looks like you had a manager, barman, and a bar girl, and they were just chatting. You could talk to them and they were lovely. You could hear them chatting their own conversations.
Yeah.
And everybody was just...
And I don't know if you had gone to explore the pub yourself at this bit or if you heard her, but the girl behind the bar was talking to the two blokes that were working in there. And she was saying to them, it's been a bit of a quiet day today, but everybody that has been in today has just been so lovely and I've enjoyed working today. Now, how many places of work do you go into and you hear somebody that's working specifically say to their colleagues, I've had a really lovely day working today?
Yeah. And they weren't saying it for us to hear. They were just chatting to each other.
Yeah, we just overheard. We were being nosy.
You got 2 hours left. Oh, it's gone a little bit slow, but I mean, having fun.
Yeah.
It was lovely. Oh, man.
And the thing is, it was like... there was a moment where I felt like I was going absolutely insane because the people that work there, it was like, this is just normal. And there's us going, what? This isn't normal. This is wacky. It's a bit like going to a fun house. Yeah.
It was amazing. And it potentially, even though, again, we didn't experience anything, the whole pub is stone. Not just the pub is stone, all the new features, the way they've sculpted the building is all using authentic stone. So they've doubled or tripled the amount of stone in that building that could hold something. And we were chatting to those guys in there, and we were talking about this is the thread we've seen amongst all these haunted houses, all these haunted locations, all these places that give you those strange feelings.
Solid
stone. Stone is the key, which is why so many places I think you don't feel it, but you go to these old places made out of granite and stone and magnetic rock, and these experiences happen.
Yes.
That doesn't deny it's happening as real, but because this could be as real as anything. And again, talking to Jim and Les about how that pint glass flew off, and it wasn't just it fell off the table, because we were chatting to the other guys and said maybe it fell off, and just the story, maybe it was put on the edge of the bar and it just dropped off, and over the course of years it's gone from dropping off to flying across. But they were absolutely as convinced as I am about my experiences.
Yes.
They were convinced that they both saw this pint glass just fly off and fly across the room and smash.
Yeah.
As the story said in the papers that this pint glass flew. It may be in a different, but I think they said it was the same manager at the time, the same landlord. It could have been the same landlord.
No, they went in there with the next landlord.
So the same thing happened with two different people.
Yes.
that's where these stories, I did poo-poo it last time on our last one about when we went around Dartmoor, because there was nothing really apart from, it was so easy to debunk. It was so easy to say, we know the facts on some of these places. We know that these things are made up. But today, and our trip around the pubs, the feeling we got in some places, the feeling Dan got, the stories we heard added a whole new dimension. This is why we want to do this podcast and do it properly.
Yes.
Because yes, it's like UFO sightings. There's 95%, 98% can be dismissed as whatever. But just because 98% are dismissed doesn't mean it doesn't happen. With hauntings, ghosts, and other experiences, because of 99% might be rubbish, doesn't mean it's not a real thing.
And they're great story. Even if you don't believe, it's still a great story. And for like Jim and Les, I can imagine them telling people for years to come, I was once in this pub and a beer glass flew across the bar and nobody had touched the glass. What was that?
Yeah. And I can totally understand from the, again, I'm not speaking about my experiences yet. Well, there will be a time for that. But the 3 experiences I've had in my life, which I cannot explain, they are never going to leave me because they are so real. And there's a difference between what is real. And if you asked me 10 years ago, if I could have talked to you about them 10 years ago, they would be exactly the same as I tell you now.
Yes.
Because those experiences were real. They, as far as I'm concerned, they really happened. As far as the person I was with who experienced it with me, it really happened.
Yes, and we'll definitely try and get him on the pod to talk about that.
But what Jim and Les spoke about, they were, 2 of them were so absolutely convinced this is what happened. It didn't take any prompting from either of them. They both came with the same story.
Yeah.
Very little.
So much so they were correcting each other.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, it was such and such that had the and it was lovely. It was like they were sitting there telling you about somebody, like a child or a grandchild. It was as real as that.
So this is why we want to do this podcast, because there is some mystery out there. There is still mystery. We may, the world is so science and decided, so many people just believe what they see on social media. They believe what they see in the news. They don't critically think. No one's taught to think about things critically anymore. But there's still experiences where you being told what to think will still blow out the water. You will not be, you've got to have an open mind about things. You can still close it or still trying to work things out. But every so often you may be hit with something which you just can't explain. And when that happens, if your mind is totally closed, I don't know what would happen to you.
Yeah.
You've got to have something there. There has to be, because just from today, from my personal experiences and from today's experiences talking to Jim and Les, and from the bar staff who we spoke to, who all said, don't believe in it, but.
And if that's the takeaway of this episode, it's but.
One huge but.
So I hope you've enjoyed today, listening all about us going around the pubs around Devon and Cornwall and exploring a few haunted pubs. We have been the Boo-Foons. We continue to be the Boo-Foons, the Boo-Foons mystery investigators. And if you've got a mystery or a story that you wish to share with us and you want us to talk about on the pod,
we might even get you on the pod if you really wanted to.
That would be cool.
That would be cool.
We can interview some people with some stories. Do get in touch with us. We're on all the socials. Just search for the Boo-Foons and get in touch with your story, and we can talk about it.
Thank you very much for listening.
The Boo-Foons Mystery Investigators. They don't always get it right, but they always get it weird.